Hello everyone, and welcome back to Minecraft. Today we're not doing a zoo, we're doing my ideas for biomes, which you can kind of see behind me. I had quite a few ideas, because basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a modded series, one of those 100 days hardcore with mods, in the ocean as the Merling origin. However, I noticed that there were no fabric mods that had real ocean biomes, just some stuff that added some small fish or a single mob, or there was one that actually adds a bunch of stuff that spawns during storms and is horrifying. And yeah, but it just seemed so not diverse underwater, so I decided to design some stuff that would be pretty cool to have, even though I can't actually mod it in myself. But let's get started. Oh, and don't mind that, that's just future-based plans for the SMP. The first biome we have is the Kelp Forest, or Mega Kelp Forest. And keep in mind, these would be an actual green wood block, not bamboo wood. I just thought it looked good for this diorama. Same with this, it would be an actual otter, and I think that's kind of obvious, but I wanted to say it anyway. I am not a coder. If I was, I probably would have done all this myself and showcased it that way. But yeah, this would be a giant kelp forest. It would be a source of underwater wood if you want to live underwater. Or if you wanted to make a world that was entirely ocean, you could still have wood available outside of shipwrecks. And yeah, it's just got a nice vibe, you know? And it's so deep that let's go into survival for a second and see if we can get to the bottom, because this is about the same height as a deep, cold ocean. In fact, I think I set that as the biome here. So slash game mode survival. I dive down to the bottom. Oh, I gave myself water breathing. Yeah, hold on. Ooh, yeah, now it looks even cooler. It's kind of scarier. By the way, some of these will have issues because of sodium not being exactly the best at transparent entities. There's a couple culling problems that I don't know how to fix. So if you can suggest a fabric mod for that, thank you. Now let's see. How long does it take to dive to the bottom and then get back up? Yeah, I wasn't paying much attention to the bubble meter, but as you can see, it's this is a deep biome, and if you want to be at the ocean floor, yeah, you're gonna have to be really careful about, I'm getting wood. Uh-oh, I'm drowning. And yeah, that's basically the idea behind this underwater wood, but also just every plant in the underwater... Oopsie, I'm a little stupid. Normally would be so fast, but they debuffed it after 1.20, and I am so mad, because normally you'd be able to just get a bunch of speed from doing this jumping thing, and I used to love doing that because it doesn't use up as much durability or rockets, but now just Let's go back to creative. And aside from the otter, what the otter would do is it would eat the sea urchins, and they aren't in here because I can't actually place heads underwater. Yeah. And they would kind of eat the wood. I was thinking maybe they could be good for automatic tree farms, because, you gotta that blast chamber for most of them. But instead, maybe you could have the urchin do it, And sea otter, as long as it's around, will keep the urchin from doing it, so you can keep it as a decoration without eating the wood. So maybe it would eat the urchins, but the urchins also just wouldn't eat the wood when they're around. Because I was trying to figure that out, like, it would ruin the biome if I just constantly had urchins eating all of this. So by having the otter deter it, that would fix it. Now the next one is the cold water reef. And this is inspired by, I think it's the Great Bay in Maine, or something. Or no, it's the Gulf of Maine. Yeah, that's it. And it has a bunch of macroalgae and some cold water corals and rocks and everything that kind of make, like, it's not exactly a coral reef, but it's also just, it looks pretty weird and alien. And these are corals, and some of these would be corals, some of these will also be like some kind of algae, like yellowish orange in tint from some of the pictures I've seen, which I think would be cool to have for an underwater plant, because so far we only have the coral colors, which are blue, pink, purple, red, and yellow. That, and then we have green from kelp and seagrass and pickles, but then we don't have orange. Sorry, new computer, I forgot to turn music off. I'm sorry if any of you like the music. I don't like putting it in the recordings because I like to put my own music over the top. Yeah, that's the problem with using structure voids as the walls for these. The fish can just jump on out. Though I like it because we can just kind of go in and out like that. And the mob that would spawn in this biome that's special to it is the wolf eel. And I don't exactly know what it would do. Like, I know it eats urchins too, so maybe it would eat the urchins without stopping them from eating wood. I don't know. But I just thought it would be cool to have here. It would just be slinking in between the rocks with its long, undulating body. Yeah, I think it's just cool. And this one doesn't add a new mob. Instead, it's just, and it doesn't add any new blocks either. Get back in there. I don't pay you to stand around. This would be the Seagrass Plains. And this would be inspired by actual seagrass plains in real life. They're shallow, warm areas, and it's just seagrass. Maybe you could add like stingrays or something to hang out in the bottom, and it would blend in with the grass, so you know, you're swimming along, you're having a good time, then all of a sudden, ouch, I was stung. And maybe, and this would be good for turtle breeding too, because you can get so much seagrass. Yeah, I just kind of like it because it's a good idea. I want more shallow biomes in the ocean, but also more like lush, deep ones like these two. So a lot of these are either there's like gonna be nothing in between. It's pretty much just gonna be super deep or super shallow. And this is the red mangrove. Move. I don't know why you're getting stuck on fences. Hold on. Caps lock. Yeah, so this would be the red mangrove, which, as you can probably expect, is inspired by actual red mangroves. And I'm thinking it would have like a white wood on the inside, but red on the outside, which would be a cool contrast with for a log. And also would provide just like pure white wood, which I liked from the old Biomes of Plenty mod. Sorry if you can hear my keyboard, once again, new computer. And between the mangroves, you have sloths that would be able to climb like spiders up the roots and the trunks and stuff, and also be able to swim in between. And the specific type of sloth would be the pygmy three-toed sloth, which is found in some islands off the coast of Panama. And I'm thinking for them, you could probably use a shear on them to get moss carpets, because sloths actually grow algae in their fur, which is why they're green sometimes. And it would just be a good, like, you know, fun little addition feature, because I don't want to make them completely useless, like, a mob that just sits around and is pretty, that's, I mean, it's okay, but it's not the best. And yeah, I'm thinking this biome would be a bunch of little islands. It wouldn't have the mud because, like, mud's kind of icky. Or maybe it would have a different kind of mud, something that's not so dark. Like a silty mud, maybe? I don't know. These are just concepts, and by the way, if any of you who are watching the video are able to code, I encourage you to, take inspiration from my ideas or just outright take them, because I'm probably not going to be able to do anything with them at any point, and I just want them in the game either way. So yeah, let me know in the comments if this would be something that you'd want to code. Now, the next biome takes a little bit of a divergence from the awe-inspiring and beautiful nature stuff. This would be kind of a scary biome, and you can tell because I put tinted glass over the top to make it dark. See, you know those ravines that you'll see? Those ravines in the bottom of the ocean. Sometimes they're filled with magma, sometimes they're not. Well, I'm thinking sometimes they could be the abyssal zone. And they'd spawn skulk all over the bottom, and you could get it all up for... And no, none of the other skulk blocks, just regular old skulk. And you could get it all up for XP, and it would be a good source of it. But you can't just have free XP at the bottom of the ocean. Even if it does take you a while to swim down here, and you might lose your breath and drown, you can easily fix that by putting in some block that... like a door. Like... I know you can use a door to get air down here. And that's why you would have... it's not... I don't know how to make them glow. So maybe if I just kind of place that there. Ooh, yeah. Or hold on, what if, like, a soul lantern? Honestly, those might make better eyes than the actual eyes. I built this without shaders, I should have brought that in mind. If I quickly turn them off, yeah, you can see, those are the eyes. You'd have some creature down here, and it would be after you. It would want to eat you. And this would... And it wouldn't be inspired by a real fish, or maybe the viper fish, but like fantasyified. Because I actually agree with Mojang's take that like real animals shouldn't be aggressive mobs because it encourages people to hurt them in real life. So I'm thinking just a fictional thing. Also, we'd have these little fish just kind of in there, and once again, can't place the heads in the water, so they're out here. And they probably drop maybe like glow ink. And you could probably also get glow squids down here, which would be neat. And I think these would just be, these, I know I said I don't like useless mobs, but this would just be a decoration. Maybe they drop glow ink, but, yeah. And the way the big hostile mob would work, I think it'd be cool if instead of just like a big fish, maybe it's only visible in the light. Like when the sun is shining directly down onto it, you can see it, but otherwise, just the eyes, just like you have with spiders. So you just see these big glowing eyes in the cave, and then they come after you, and you see the massive toothy fish, and it would like, be terrifying. Because, the ocean's pretty and all, but it's also absolutely horrible and terrifying and awful. I have a mixed relationship with the ocean. And this next one would be the magma vents, and it would spawn magma cubes down in the depths. Ignore that. Yeah, so there'd be magma cubes down in the vents here. And we already kind of have this with the ravines with magma at the bottom, but I just think this would be a cooler addition. Also, a good source of obsidian and basalt in the overworld. Just an idea. The next one, this one's actually one of my favorites that I think I want to have added. And it is like the red algae shores. This is inspired by off the coast of the Galapagos, where the marine iguanas live. And by the way, this is a horrible marine iguana. I hate it, but I couldn't figure out anything better. Maybe just the head, but no. And they'll go down, they'll eat the algae, and they'll come back up and they'll sun themselves. And I think that this biome is just red. It's kinda creepy in a way. Like, it's scary, but also it's just kinda zen. Because all it's here is an iguana, some algae, maybe a drowned, you know. It'll be contrasting to the rest, because the rest kind of hinge on the coral colors, or green, a lot of green. This is just kind of the opposite. It's almost like the nether in the overworld, but with water, and it's just like a weird vibe. Am I still invisible? Oh. Huh. And I'm thinking these guys, maybe, like, there's a thing they do. To cope with all the salt in the water, when they come up and sun themselves, they'll kind of, like, sneeze it out onto their head and collect a deposit of it. And I'm thinking maybe they'll just sneeze, like, salt sometimes. And you could use salt to preserve food, or maybe some new cooking recipes or something. And it wouldn't make sense to only have salt with the iguana, but also it would make them pretty useful. Like, imagine you're cooking everything with this guy's snot. That is the least intriguing idea I think I've ever had or heard. So let's move on from that to the shallow reef. And this is kind of like, I saw some you know those pictures where you got like the little streaks of kind of a brownish gray on the bottom. Oh, I'll help you. And it's just a couple little corals, and it's just really shallow. That would be nice. Why is that so dark? I don't get that. It's so dark. Meh. That's coming up. And this would be just a big shallow area, which, you know, sometimes you just want an area in the ocean that's big and shallow, so you can build like a town on top of the water. Like, if I were to grab some birch right now, you could just kind of quickly build some stuff. You wouldn't have to raise it up out of the terrain. You wouldn't have to do whatever else to it. You'd just kind of be able to build it. So yeah, it'd be a nice little area. And with the mod thing, the reason I wanted it was because as the merling, you need to be completely submerged, so it's still water. You're still moving fast, you're still, you know, kinda in your element, but you gotta get to these little small, shallow areas, and you're kind of restricted. And so while it's beautiful to most people, the little merling would be stuck and trapped in this maze. Which makes this, yeah. Sorry, claustrophobia warning, I guess. And now this would be the cliff reefs. The cliff reefs would be, you know, nice big coral reef, and then once it hits a drop-off, as you can see, there's nothing really down there. But you'd have some stuff going down the cliff until it just becomes empty. And at night, I'm imagining something would kinda swim around down here, catching whatever fish come a little too close to the bottom. And maybe you'd have something living in the wall, like a bobbit worm or a moray eel that can kind of pop out if you get too close. So, you know, beautiful reef, scary undertow. And second to last biome, this is probably the most bizarre one, and also, sorry, there's some glass loading issues with sodium once again. And so, yeah, this is what you're looking at. Like, if you're up at the top here, maybe, it's just kinda, you see all the rings going down. You see this, like, Portuguese man of war. Oh, that's a weird effect. Yeah, you see that Portuguese man of war just drifting around. Touch it. Ow, zap. And I'm thinking this is the biome where it could probably be, like, the most dangerous and inhospitable because it's all fantasy elements. You get too close to jellyfish. Ah, zap. You get too close to the bottom. Ah, zap. And by the way, this would not actually be Skulk. I hate having a bottom of Skulk. That would be so laggy, and it'd be so noisy, and you'd light up all the time, and yeah. It would really be some kind of other tentacle thing. Oh, and I forgot to empty this one out. These are supposed to be, yeah, you can kind of come up here for air, away from everything dangerous, but you can't actually stay in here, so you gotta be really careful. Maybe you can stand on this, but then you can't breathe. And yeah, it's just a scary, but also bizarre and alien biome. But really, not that much more bizarre than anything we already have on Earth. Like, jellyfish, man-o-wars, those are things that already live here. And now for the last biome. This is kind of a contrasty one. It has these fishies in it. And step in. The bottom, all barren. Nothing lives down here. Maybe you'll get like a crab or a lobster or something living in a rock. But otherwise, empty. Completely empty. And once you're at the top, lush little paradise. Aside from that. And you'll have these little fish, and they'll swim down to the bottom. Sift around the dirt. And then go back up with some bone meal. And bring it up here. And it'd be a nice bone meal farm. But these are fragile little ecosystems. They need something to protect them. Which is where the sea spider comes in. It would be able to swim after you. Possibly faster than you. Which, you know, that'd be a scary thing to have in the ocean, but also really cool. And I'm thinking instead of being, like, nice in the daylight like other spiders are, they would just be always hostile towards outsiders. Though maybe you could get, like... Nah. I don't know, I was thinking maybe you could pacify them, but... I think it'd just be a cooler idea. Like, if you really wanted to live here, put up with them, you know? But yeah, life above, nothing below. And that concludes my video about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 new biomes for the Minecraft Ocean. I thought this was a fun video to make. It was kind of a passion project. I don't expect it to do well. And that base is coming. And there actually is one more thing I would like to see added to Java that actually is already in Minecraft, just not this Minecraft. Let me bring you over to Bedrock. Okay, welcome to the Bedrock Reefs. I'm here to show you what they look like here. Because I like them so much better. Look at these structures. They got like sand beds on top of more coral. You got these big rings. You got these big structures you can hide under. You've got all of this. Everything is just beautiful here. Like, just look at this terrain generation. Wouldn't you love this for Java reefs? Be so much better. Like, so much better. And this is the only reason sometimes that I will play Bedrock in single player. It is for these reefs. Like, they are just that beautiful. Also, the distance I can render is like 50 chunks. And I'm not lagging at all. I'm running at the same frame rate as I did in Java. So yeah, that concludes this video. Thank you for touring the wonderful... No. Okay, that's something I don't like about Bedrock. Well, thank you for touring the world's oceans with me, or what should be the world's oceans. I will see you in the next video. This is A Riot Alien, and I leave in peace.